Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Chris and Amy Show, good morning to you. Just after 9 o'clock and with you until 12 o'clock today. That is when the Gas House Gang happens. Bernie Miklasz and me. We'll talk a little Cardinals baseball after a win last night. And day game today. We'll tell you all about it. So 314-436-7900 is the phone number. You can call us. You can text us. That phone number, 314-436-7900. Put it in your phone. You can also leave us voice messages directly from the Odyssey app. Hopefully you have that app on your phone, and that's how you listen to the show if you're not doing it in your car. You can leave us voice messages, like I said, and sometimes we will play them on the show. And if you want to watch Amy and I do a show today, you can and see our matching shirts. 314-436-7900. And you can tell us what you think about our matching shirts. And you can leave comments on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, where you're watching us. Yeah. Well, look at us.
What? We're so dumb. We do this, though.
We don't.
We matched. I think we've matched multiple times where you've worn like green shorts and I've worn green shorts or pants and a black top, and now we're both wearing red shirts. I think we coordinate more than Hancock and Kelly dress alike 90% of the time.
I just want to tell you that I have no green shorts at all.
Somehow
I own no green shorts.
Somehow we've matched. But at any
rate.
So
Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We are on Twitter at Chris Amy KMOX, but you can also find us on the KMOX News account as well.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
Well, it's happening. Artificial intelligence is going rogue, and we are all in deep, deep trouble. An open AI model escaped a test environment and hacked another company on its own. That's not good. We're going to talk to Hadass Gold, CNN AI correspondent, coming up at 10:30.
And Missouri Senator Josh Hawley for Missouri. Man, he really gave it to the Postmaster General over all of that missing mail in the city of St. Louis. In fact, the way the St. Louis Post Office was run was the worst that they've ever seen and the worst in the country. And so we will listen to some of Senator Hawley's biting commentary.
He needs to give it to the postmaster about this mail-in ballot stuff, because that's nonsense. Cardinals beat the Angels to salvage the finale of that series. They got a makeup game this afternoon at 4:15. Mm-hmm. So we'll have the pregame show at 3:20. And one other note about the game today. If you want to go see some inexpensive Cardinals baseball, you can do that today. And I do believe it's going to be a nice day for the rest of the day. It's nice this morning.
Yeah.
Last night, beautiful outside. No humidity, little bit of a cool feel to the air. Just great. But today, if you want to go for $5, tickets start at $5. So you might want to get in on it. Hopefully they don't sell out. But happy hour pricing all game today. Because usually they have the happy hour that leads up to the game and then it's over. So $5 beer, hot dogs, nachos, some other stuff too. But you have to go to these special concession stands. They got a few of them. And you can find out where those all are, cardinals.com/happy hour. Again, tickets today start at $5. And then like $5 beer, hot dogs.
That's a good price. And it really is. It was gorgeous this morning. I know we're going to get to later that you saw the Odyssey.
Yes.
And we're waiting with bated breath, as is Major Garrett, CBS Chief Washington correspondent.
I got a bone to pick with him. Yeah. So he's not on the show today.
No, he's not on the show.
That's one of the reasons I got a bone to pick with him.
Yeah. But he also really genuinely wants to hear Ranji's review.
Yeah.
And he gave us his review. But before we get to that, yesterday we were talking a lot about the city of St. Louis and where it is lacking and where it needs to pick up and where it is strong. And I was comparing it to Indianapolis. And like I said, I think sometimes whenever I'm critical of the city, it's partly out of, frustration and always out of passion for the city because I love the city. And Ranj, we have these runs that we call the Arch Run. Sometimes we start in Forest Park, run to the Arch and around it and back. Sometimes it's the Central West End, and short on time this morning, so we started in the Central West End and ran with my group, and we go around the Arch and back. So we got 10 miles of city running. Let me just say, I feel like all 10 miles, we went up Washington. We kind of shot up Washington. We bobbed and weaved a little bit, but for the most part went up Washington. So if you're looking at the Arch from the west, we came on the left side, the north side of the Arch, looped around the Arch grounds, ran under the Arch, which, by the way, those grounds are pristine. They're gorgeous, and no matter how much you've seen the Arch, it still takes your breath away when you're directly beneath it. Ran back around the Arch and then headed west down Olive, cut through Market Street by Union Station, Energizer Park, cut through Midtown and the SLU campus back to the Central West End. The entire run was beautiful. The entire run was cool. The entire run was either filled with great restaurants, apartments, or the potential for it. And it made me frustrated in some ways because I thought, oh my gosh, this city is so pretty and has so much character. I don't want to bash another city, although, blowing out someone else's candle does make yours brighter. But Houston is the worst. Houston has no character. Houston looks unfinished, like someone tried to draw a Gotham City from a Batman comic book novel and just kind of stopped after just using the gray pencil to build these high rises. But all of the cobblestone streets and the old buildings, and even old buildings that used to be stores or warehouses that were transformed into apartments, there is so much potential, Ron. And every time I run through the Central West End, I think, that's it, I'm going to move here. Because I love, Kirkwood's awesome. Webster Groves has so much character. I love those areas. But there's a cool factor that comes with living in the city that really enchants me. It's just cool. The Central West End is so cool. Even Midtown, which, had some, has dead spots for sure. But then you'll run by a brewery or a pizzeria and you think, wow, this is a really cool neighborhood. And there's little neighborhoods nestled in the Central West End and Midtown. No, I'm not discovering this for the first time. And yes, people can listen and say, well, Amy, what did you think it was? No, I get that. But what I'm saying is, when was the last time you just spent 10 miles on foot running or walking around the city? And when you do that, I think it drives home how much potential there is.
I think there's a lot of good infrastructure here, but we have a bunch of problems. One of them is something that we talked about yesterday. I think there just aren't enough people in the area invested in what happens to the city itself. And yeah, the Central West End is great.
So cool.
I enjoyed
not
living
just the
there.
one or two streets, but I mean the spread out, all the neighborhoods that are nestled in the Central West
End. It's an expensive neighborhood, so it better be nice. It is not cheap to live there. Even if you have an apartment, it is not cheap to live there. And the homes are huge, and they're most of them are very old, and they're beautiful neighborhoods. Yeah. And the gathering spots, it's gone through a little bit of, it's gone through changes. When I first moved there in 2017, it was a lot different than it was in 2025 when I moved out. Some businesses had left.
Okay, sorry. So you're saying it was actually better in 2017?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And I'm thinking of one particular intersection, that one at Maryland, Euclid and Maryland, where there used to be the Gamlin Whiskey House. And there was a coffee cartel, which was awesome, a 24-hour coffee shop, which you just can't find anymore.
Yeah.
And that had been there forever. And, you got the Drunken Fish, which is fine. And then you had Culpeppers. And a lot of that left. And some of those stores were vacant for a while. And they've been replaced. And now there's more coming back. That Noble Crown that we have talked about before months ago, which is going where the Culpeppers is, or actually is open now. And across the street from it is Marvel S. Fox, which is supposed to be a sports bar kind of concept, which is not open yet. It's supposed to be. But I think there's a resurgence, and it seems like that neighborhood goes through ebbs and flows. And I love the neighborhood. I'm not upset that I left there, but I do like it. And when you're talking about Midtown,
there's
when I drive
potential there. Yeah.
But my understanding about Midtown and on Locust, all those really, there's a lot of good storefronts there.
Can I clarify? I might be wrong. I'm often wrong, but never in doubt. So I'm in the Central West End, and I'm running east. I'm running into Midtown, right?
Right.
So, okay. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't a neighborhood I was missing. The Central West End runs into Midtown.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much right.
Okay.
There's a Grand, is it called Grand Center? I'm not sure exactly where the Fox is, Fox Theater, all that.
It's kind of like between what I would call the Central West End that I recognize as the Central West End and SLU. That's where the Central West End and Midtown smushed together.
Yeah, kind of.
West of SLU and east of the Central West
But,
End.
when you go Locust, there's a long road there.
That's what
several
we ran.
blocks.
We ran Locust for a long time.
So my understanding was when they kicked all the people out of the Mill Creek Valley who used to live there and they redeveloped it, that never took off. And we're talking decades and decades ago.
Yeah.
So
because there are apartments, but my understanding is it's really SLU that keeps those apartments going.
I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
But again, my understanding is, so the point I'm trying to make is I think we kind of have in this city a long history of not really reaching our potential. It's not just we're not doing it right now in 2026. It's that this has been going on back in the 50s, and it was going on in the early 1900s. I mean, we've always, as a city or a region, had this lack of being as good as we could possibly be or anywhere close to it. And maybe it's a fortitude issue. I don't know. Maybe it's too many different people pulling in different directions. I don't know what it is.
I think a lot of it is that. I really think, going back to what we said yesterday in the quote from Jason Bachman, who owns Strange Donuts, among other things, and he said in Indianapolis, because he was comparing the two, people are rowing in the same direction. And I think that might single-handedly be our biggest problem is we're not rowing in the same direction. I don't even mean city and county. Within the city, we're not rowing in the same direction. But I guess what it did is it really lit my fire for trying to keep encouraging us to reach our potential, because a lot of cities do not have the character that St. Louis has. St. Louis has so much history. I mean, obviously that big city, that a lot of times the first law school, the first university, whatever, west of the Mississippi, because we're right there west of the Mississippi. But there is so much beauty. There's so much history. There is so much character. And the thing is, you do see sprinkled along Locust, along Olive. We ran down Wash Ave. I mean, we were all over the place, right? You see sprinkled places that I didn't even know existed. I actually had not heard of Blue Jay Brewing. It's on Locust, right? I guess that would be called Midtown, which looked very cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, what's that? And so I think when you go on foot and you really see how pretty the neighborhoods are, and I'm probably... You probably see a city in its best light in the early morning when the sun's coming up and the birds are chirping, but it was, I will say, Ranj, that cool factor that the city has, just has it.
It does. It's just that we have to have enough people who are willing to do something with it. And I have to be, man, I feel pessimistic about that because I don't think we have the numbers. And I'm not sure we ever will, because it will take it's going to be a regional effort if we ever want this place to be a true contender. And I don't think that we're all ever going to pull in the same direction.
We should have a mandatory walking tour for everyone in St. Louis City and County going, all right, we're all going to walk on foot over the next couple of days. We're all going to really look at these areas because they're beautiful, they're gorgeous. And like I said, I finished the run this morning saying, that's it. I want to move to the Central West End. I love the vibe of it. I love the history of it, the cool factor. I will say, Midtown had some dead spots, obviously, right? You have apartment building, and then it's kind of dead, and then a brewery, then kind of dead. And Wash Ave is Wash Ave, which goes up and down.
It's a good neighborhood.
Oh, man, we have so much
It's a good
here.
neighborhood, but it's going to cost you to live there. So hopefully you have some means, and you can find a nice place.
I mean, some apartments are.
If
they're not impossible. It's not. I mean, I think you can
It's
find
not
an apartment in Central West End easier than Clayton.
Yeah, well, probably, but I'm still going to spend like $1,500 at least.
Yeah.
Which is that's a lot for a lot of people.
Isn't Soulard getting up there?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. Any neighborhood you look at is going to have. It's all expensive. I think rent is going up pretty much everywhere. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. Of course, let us know what you think. 314-436-7900. Text the show. We love you.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC. Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
Lemonade! Fresh squeezed lemonade! Lemonade? Oh, nuts.
Is your business struggling to be seen? Not reaching the right customers?
Yeah.
Odyssey's here to help. Your one-stop shop for digital marketing.
Wait, really?
With targeted digital media, plus SEO, SEM, social, OTT, and more, we help your business reach the right audience and drive results.
Whoa, hey, one at a time.
Stop missing out on valuable customers. Visit digitallocalads.com to learn more about our local advertising solutions. That's digitallocalads.com.
Okay, people, line starts here.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Back to school starts now. Get long-lasting battery life on the Dell XPS laptop powered by Series 3 Intel Core so you can work from anywhere. Now starting at $699 with exclusive student pricing starting at $599. Complete your setup with savings on select monitors and must-have electronics and accessories. Limited time deals and free shipping on PCs and more await you at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Trisha Burns never answers the call. Trisha Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Trisha Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Trisha Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Trisha Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Trisha Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Fonz, Treasurer.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where 24-pack Crayola crayons are just 50 cents?
Staples has folders, notebooks, and pens at great prices.
I'm smiling from ear to ear.
It's the most wonderful time.
Mom, I missed the bus of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples, where school supplies start at just 25 cents. Staples. That was easy. Visit your local Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
100 years. One legendary voice. Relive KMOX's century of service. Classic audio, photos, videos, and more at KMOX100.com.
Chris and Amy on KMOX. So, a couple of things here. I did go see The Odyssey yesterday, and I was very happy to do so. Also have a bone to pick with Major Garrett. So, he's not going to be on the show today.
You can't pick the bone today.
Well, I can't do it today, but I can do it over the air.
Because he texted this morning saying
He did.
that he wants your review
He did.
of The Odyssey.
Yes. So, there are two reasons I'm not happy with him. Number one, he's not on the show today because he wants to spend time with his wife. I mean, come on.
Come on.
That's number one. Number two,
Yes.
he texted us the other day and to let us know that he could not be on the show. And also, he went to see The Odyssey, didn't like it.
No, I don't think he said I
said he was
didn't like it.
disappointed.
He gave it a 6.5 out of 10, and he thought it was overhyped.
Yeah.
Those are fighting words.
So he's disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing about Major Garrett, and I'm going to say this to his face or on the phone. I trust his opinion more than most people because he's a thoughtful guy.
More than you trust most people.
Correct. He's a thoughtful person.
He is very thoughtful.
I'm telling you, man, that the movie is fantastic. It's really, really well done. And it's a long movie
Can I
too,
say,
but
to set the table, since Major gave us a number, 6.5 out of 10, can you give the people a number before
I think it's a good 9. It's a
Wow.
solid 9.
Maybe 9.2?
It could be. It's really, really good. And I think it's one of those things where, there's a little bit of recency bias in it, and I want to take some time. I want to take some time to think about it.
Oh, and
within
also
the context of his other movies.
recency bias, but didn't you say that you were concerned that you would also have Christopher Nolan bias because you like him?
And I tried really hard not to do that.
Like going to a comedian that you know and like, you actually laugh more easily.
Of course.
Because you're expecting to. So you were kind of afraid that your Christopher Nolan bias would make you like it more than you should.
Yeah, but I didn't. I think I was pretty measured about it. It's really good. And the thing you were talking about with there being so many recognizable A-listers who are in the movie, you thought about it taking you out of the film. It didn't. I mean, you do notice, like, okay, that's Matt Damon. There's Anne Hathaway right away. There's Robert Pattinson. Oh, here comes John Leguizamo. Like, you notice them and you see them, but then the story is so good and so well done that you forget about it.
So what's funny is I couldn't ask Ranj or tell Ranj anything about the movie or about, well, I didn't see it, but people who have seen it, because he really likes to know nothing. He doesn't even like to watch the trailer. But Kevin Wheeler had said this 2 days ago, but I couldn't tell Ranj because Ranj would get mad. But Kevin Wheeler said for the first 5 minutes, he was very aware of all the all-star actors because there were so many blockbuster names. But after 5 minutes, he forgot about how the all-star cast and just got absorbed in the plot.
Yeah, it was very easy to forget about that very quickly. Stories, and it is visually it's stunning. I think it's one of the really great movies I've seen in a long time. And I do want to go see it now. So I did the 70 millimeter, which is just the film. It's not the IMAX 70. It's just a standard 70 millimeter film. It's not digital. Mm-hmm. It has a different feel to it and a different look. There's a bit of a flickering on it, which I noticed it. And Pajewski, apparently, he saw the same thing.
Yeah.
When we were talking about it today, he's like,
IMAX,
yes, I saw that too.
Yeah.
I think it's a function of the film being actual physical film.
Non-IMAX.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think I do want to go see it in an IMAX or a digital format, see what it looks like. But I thought it was great, man. I really, really did like it.
We'll talk more movies actually in the 11 o'clock hour because I know you said you might see it again, right? And the medium through which you see it. Someone said, whatever you do, don't watch it on the back of the seat on a plane or whatever. But Tom Hanks had some thoughts.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting.
Which were really interesting. So I think we'll get back to the Odyssey and movies in the 11 o'clock hour.
Amy, meanwhile, is texting Major while we're doing the segment.
I was laughing.
And she's telling on me, and he called me a name. I have said this. I have said this word on the air before,
but I don't think
you're supposed to.
He hashtagged it too.
Think Ted Lasso. Think insult that you would hear in Ted Lasso.
That's what
an English. He gave me an English slur.
But he hashtagged it.
And he hashtagged it. What a guy.
We're arguing with him about this movie.
Yes, we are. So we were talking about trying to make St. Louis come back. Well, I visited Detroit a couple of years ago, was impressed with how that city seems to be doing. Eric Schmid with St. Louis Magazine is going to join us when we come back about their resurgence and what we can learn from them. That's next on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
KMOX isn't just a news station. It's where St. Louis has the conversation. The conversations happening around kitchen tables, in offices, at the ballpark, and across our neighborhoods. The things we celebrate, the things we debate, the things that matter. We're talking about you. 104.1 FM, KMOX. Join the conversation. Everyone's welcome. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Beautiful morning to walk around downtown St. Louis and the Arch. 74 degrees, partly sunny today, a high 80. Tonight, some clouds, a low of 66.
Brought to you by Duke's Real Mayo.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay, are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor, and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports, and she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working-class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Today,
the Cards, the D-backs.
Emeren Total Access 320. First pitch 4:15.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Our conversation about the city of St. Louis continues. Like I said, I had about 10 miles running around the streets of St. Louis this morning, the Central West End, Midtown, the Arch Grounds, the SLU campus, and there's so much potential. And it can be frustrating when you know how good our city can be and that we can't seem to row in the same direction. Well, Eric Schmid is the business editor of St. Louis Magazine, and he has a recent story about St. Louis leaders looking to Detroit, of all places, for pointers on how to build a resurgence for their city. This is something, Ranj, that you and I have talked about. I know you recently visited Detroit, and I know they had a very unique way to go about their resurgence, but Eric Schmid joins us now. Eric, we appreciate your time this morning.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me on.
So I guess to kind of set the table on this panel that took place on Tuesday, where local elected officials, nonprofit leaders, civic leaders got to have a discussion about how Detroit turned its trajectory around. So what was this panel?
Yeah, so this panel was organized by the James S. McDonald Foundation, St. Louis Community Foundation, St. Louis Development Corporation. President and CEO Stephen Westbrooks moderated it, and it had the Kresge Foundation, a philanthropic organization out of Detroit. It had their president and CEO come and talk about, well, how did Detroit how did they figure out how to turn this corner on its, reputation? Detroit had suffered, many, you could call it blow after blow. There was the 2008 financial crisis that really threatened to topple the auto industry there. Its mayor was embroiled in a scandal, and that resulted in a criminal conviction. There was a bankruptcy filing back, almost 13 years ago. So Detroit was kind of like this punching bag of like, oof, we don't really want to become them. But the Rip Rapson, the president and CEO of the Kresge Foundation, really shared, okay, how did his philanthropic organization kind of put together a little bit of a framework? They weren't the only actor involved, and he was very clear on that. But how did they kind of put together a framework to get the rest of the civic, business, and philanthropic community in Detroit pushing in the same direction, eventually enough to start garnering national attention for, hey, it's not so bad here. Things are going well.
So yeah, I mean, like Amy said, I visited a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half, going on 2 years, and I had never been before, and it was not what I had heard it was for my entire life. And all of my friends who are from Detroit and the people who lived there, anybody I interacted with, I was there for a wedding, and anybody I interacted with, they all said about the same thing. Oh, in the last 10 years, it's gotten better. It's really picking up in the last decade. That was the refrain from just about everybody I spoke to. And so I guess the question is, they did it in a unique way. So what does this city or city leadership, what are they open to as far as how they can maybe follow Detroit's lead?
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest takeaway that I heard in this discussion was a note about collaboration. It was about not a single mayor, not a single civic culture, not a single nonprofit organization, or even business entity can pull something like this off alone. The problems and the challenges are just too big. And, I think there's a understanding here that, oftentimes we kind of get pigeonholed and let's look for the silver bullet solution. If we just fix this one thing in St. Louis, everything is going to be different. And I think what Rapson from Kresge really emphasized was that's not really the case. It's about creating a lot of systems that work together, organizations that work together, and enabling the organizations who are on the ground, the people who are on the ground, to lead this effort and then have the philanthropic support or the business community support and the civic support backfill that. And so everybody understanding what their lane is, but also rowing in the same direction as you kind of teased in the intro. And I know that's something that, having been here in St. Louis almost 10 years, I've recognized that it's challenging. It doesn't always happen. You have a lot of people kind of, there's tension, or people say, well, if you don't do it this way, or you don't want to do it the way that I think is right, then I'm going to go off and do my own thing, and it's going to be so much better. And that's kind of the antithesis of what Rapson from Kresge was sharing, and something that will be the deciding factor probably of whether or not we can replicate what Detroit was able to do, or if we continue on the same annoying path that we're on right now.
Yeah, I do think that even within the city itself, I think there's a lot of allowing perfect to be the enemy of good kind of thing that happens here. But I also have the sense that if St. Louis is really going to make some kind of actual resurgence that registers nationally, where people look at us and go, oh, yeah, St. Louis is on the up. In order for that to happen, it's going to take more than just people in the city fixing it. And I get the sense from people in the entire area that it is, well, St. Louis needs to fix its problems, and then maybe we'll participate in being part of the city, which it just isn't going to work that way. So is there any realistic path forward to get everybody, and I mean everybody, on the same page? I mean not just City of St. Louis leadership. I'm talking the region at large.
I think there is a realistic path forward, especially as you hear more and more, various organizations. I think the Regional Business Council was the most recent one to come out with a more forceful support of some type of, city-county merger, or city folding into the county in some type of way. That's something that I've been noticing has been picking up steam. So, if the city were no longer an independent city and, kind of folding into the structure of the county government, what that looks like. I'm not prescribing what exactly that is, but those conversations have picked up. You have outgoing county executive Sam Page, started that kind of momentum earlier this year. Mayor Kara Spencer has said, yeah, this is something that we should be looking into, and having, more and more either civic leaders, business organizations, or just, people in general. There are other, nonprofits that leaders who I've, interfaced with regularly who are talking about this. We're just bringing up yeah, this is something we should be looking at. So I think that is probably that is a difficult thing to pull off, and of course the Better Together hangover probably still sits in everyone's mind, but that is a place to start. And that if we can do a merger of that type in a successful way, it could give way to linking in more aspects of the surrounding counties into this whole narrative. Because you're right, the city is a very important economic engine for the region, for the state, really. And, having it just kind of languish on its own is, it's not helping us.
I think my concern with the comparisons with Detroit, what can we learn from Detroit, is that their rock bottom is so vastly different than ours, in the sense that, as you mentioned, there was corruption, there were criminal convictions, and the city's municipal bankruptcy, which at the time was the largest in American history at over $18 billion. And our city, the city of St. Louis, isn't bankrupt. We just, have been trying to decide, how do we spend hundreds of millions of ARPA funds? How do we spend hundreds of millions of Rams settlement money? So we're not bankrupt. And also, I call it suspending democracy for a year or two, but Detroit effectively did that when they named Kevin Orr the emergency manager from 2013 to 2014. You had this lawyer who took over all of the city's finances, so that wasn't in the hands of a board of aldermen or of a mayor. And I feel like those two things, the filing bankruptcy and the emergency manager who single-handedly took over the city's finances, I feel like that's so different than the city of St. Louis that you almost can't compare it.
Mm-hmm. No, without a doubt. I mean, the individual circumstances are vastly different. You know, as you were saying that, what came to mind was something that the St. Louis Community Foundation's president and CEO Kelvin Adams said on Tuesday, which was that the moment in leading up the past the situations that led to the city's culminated in the municipal bankruptcy, almost it seemed like it created a clarifying effect on the area of Detroit, understanding, okay, this is an issue. We all have to really figure this out. And, St. Louis might not necessarily have a single crystallizing moment to rally around. I mean, you can point to the devastating tornado last year, but we're just a year out from that. It's hard to tell if that is going to be this moment that we, stay committed and connected to for the next, handful of years. And what Adams really, pointed down on is that this type of work to turn around a city, a region in the way that has happened in Detroit, it takes a long time. It takes many years. And there's a lot of commitment that comes to that. And what he called out was that, St. Louis kind of likes to hop from, subject to subject and go, okay, we'll address this for a couple years and okay, it's going great. And now we're going to, we'll go on to the next shiny object over here. And then the thing that we fixed 2 years ago is now broken again because there wasn't a level of commitment. So I think that there's, to your point about, what, the depths of what Detroit was about, like that was a clarifying moment to organize around. And it's unclear if St. Louis has like a level of intensity on a clarifying moment to continue to organize around. And if we can, find that and rally around a point to continue to stay committed to this type of work over years when it, isn't exactly obvious that the results are happening, that's probably going to be the deciding factor if we can really pull something like this off.
Is it too simplistic to say that we here are a little like the frog in the water that's slowly warming instead of being dropped into a pot of boiling water? That it's gradual and we don't. I mean, we know, but it's not like a shock to the system like what happened with the auto industry in Detroit, where things collapsed pretty quickly. And it was like, oh gosh, and then it took decades, obviously, but they could point to one thing that killed the region. We really can't do that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that the frog in the boiling pot of water is a good analogy there, and it's challenging because when you in that type of a situation, you might have leaders, whether that be civic, nonprofit, business leaders who are flagging the same challenges over and over again, and people go, oh, you were talking about that a year ago, and the sky hasn't fallen yet, so why should I continue listening to you about it? It's an apt comparison, and is probably something that keeps us back from being able to really commit to this. I think I go back to are we willing to put in years of hard work when the obvious outcomes or the outcomes aren't necessarily super obvious, or they're 5 years away, and just I'm going to keep my head down. I'm going to continue this work and understand that if we stay committed to what we're up to right now, then we will see results in a specific time frame, and it might not be right now, and that's okay.
Eric Schmid, business editor of St. Louis Magazine. We appreciate your time as always. Thanks for talking with us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on.
That is Eric Schmid. Again, you can read him in St. Louis Magazine. And quickly before we hit the break, there's a texter who says, one thing we've missed while comparing St. Louis to Indy and Nashville is those two cities are the state capitals of their states. So there's naturally going to be people, state agencies, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It does not hurt. It's not everything, but...
Like Detroit, right, is not the capital. Lansing's
right,
the capital.
Right.
But I agree. Moving the capital here would help, I would think.
Yeah, we should go ahead and do that.
Let's do it.
They're not going
We've
to.
got to put them in the AT&T building.
You know, we were almost the capital of the nation. St. Louis.
When was that?
That was it 1800s?
I'm gonna look that
They
up.
were going to move it to a central location. It fell like 20-something votes shy.
Oh, my
Yeah,
gosh.
in Congress.
And we almost
So-
had Disney World, too.
Yeah. So actually, this is the country's fault.
Yes.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cut in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This has been a test of the emergency alert system. This was only a test.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is the story of the one. The one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that blows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Many times, a person hires a law firm after an injury without doing research. It can be a big mistake or not. Sometimes, after you have hired a certain lawyer, you realize you made a certain mistake. But guess what? Just because you hire them doesn't mean you can't fire them. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you think you've hired the wrong firm, you may have. So do this. Google Morgan & Morgan results or visit forthepeople.com for cases just like yours. You may find that our full-service injury firm should have been your choice in the first place. Last year, almost 12,000 people discharged their law firm and hired us after further research. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com today and let's get started. Or call Pound Law on your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Oh boy, they're really going through it in Tokyo. So apparently, it's pretty hot in Japan these days. It's been a hot summer, and so the Tokyo metropolitan government is pushing company employees to ditch their suit and tie for more casual attire featuring t-shirts, trainers, like sneakers, and shorts. In fact, the Tokyo governor called it the, quote, Tokyo Cool Biz in April, hoping to push this cool down initiative throughout Japan. So almost 4 months in now, this newly allowed shorts in the office policy is getting mixed reviews. And because I guess maybe I know they're very, very strict with rules. Like in Tokyo, it has like magic trash. There's no trash, but like you'll be thrown in jail if you litter. So maybe you would be thrown in jail for shorts. I'm not sure. But now they're allowing men to wear shorts, but women are calling it leg hair harassment. The ladies at the office are not thrilled about it.
This is in Japan.
Yep.
Okay.
They say the policy is unfair to women. Now, this is Japan, because women are expected to wear tights.
A lot of hairy legs in Japan?
Well, it's just they're saying it's unfair because apparently women are still expected to wear tights when showing parts of their legs, while men are allowed to opt for shorts. So some women are calling it leg hair harassment, referring to the discomfort of being forced to see their colleagues' leg hair.
Okay. Well...
First of all, I will say, if it was just the visual of leg hair, okay, like maybe I can see the argument why that's over the top. But if women have to wear tights or pantyhose, then yes, this is unfair.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
I don't even
Don't
own
make the ladies
pantyhose.
do that.
Can you imagine having to wear tights?
Yeah.
You need to wear tights. See how you feel.
Speaking of people who should be in jail, because you mentioned, throwing litter on the street and then you should go to jail.
Like, it's very clean, but I mean, they take their trash seriously.
Aaron Rodgers, who's going to retire, this man should be in jail because he's a penis. So you know the story about he and his family. He has his family, his parents and his brother, like he didn't talk to any of them. And this has been going on for years. There was a falling out because they don't like him.
I think I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons that he sucks, is that his family hates him. And he posted on Instagram a few days ago photos with him, his dad, his mom, and his brother. So I guess they have reunited.
Oh, that's actually good.
Yeah,
family
good for
is
them.
important. I think we became a little frivolous, a little loose with cutting off family members.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to let them into your space every day, but family is important.
How bad do you have to be if your whole family hates you? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
anyway, so Aaron Rodgers back together with his family again. When we
That's
come
good.
back,
I'm
we'll
glad.
talk a little Cardinals baseball. They got an afternoon game today, 4:15, and we will talk to Matt Pauley, host of Sports Open Line, in just a moment on KMOX.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old-timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your politician's Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, allowing politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people. And the politician's Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside Forward 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, effectively ending our power to stop corrupt and out-of-control politicians.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom, 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the Politicians Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for Fair Government.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more. I just took a COVID test. Ugh. Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit Pfizerforall.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
That refresh you've been putting off until the right deal came along? It's here! Wayfair's Black Friday and July sale is happening now, so you can finally get the style you've been waiting for less. Get up to 80% off area rugs and up to 60% off outdoor and bedroom furniture. Shop Wayfair's huge selection of styles and find the piece to fit your style, budget, and space. Plus, free shipping. Black Friday in July ends July 27th. Shop today at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home. The smartest way to do your homework is Heckman Lumber.
Thinking about building a new deck? Start with the trained professionals at Hackman Lumber, home of one of the largest inventories of decking materials and accessories in Missouri. From treated lumber and cedar to all the leading names in decking, their team will help you choose the perfect materials for your dream deck. Then finish it off with endless railing options, balusters, and LED deck lighting to bring your backyard to life. Hackman Lumber will not be undersold on in-stock decking materials, guaranteed. Do it yourself? Their team is ready to help. Also, check out their expanded paint department with custom color matching. And don't forget, follow Hackman Lumber on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to catch weekly deals, specials, and project inspiration all season long. Or visit us at hackmanstl.com. Locations in St. Peters, Troy, and Pacific, Missouri.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 10 o'clock and we have partly sunny skies and 72 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterey. The U.S. launching its 12th day of attacks on Iran, and the Iranians seem to not be backing down. Global oil back up to $100 per barrel as maritime traffic is all but stalled in the Strait of Hormuz and in the alternate route in the Red Sea. The Iranian-backed Houthis say they have also struck 2 Saudi Arabian ships in the Red Sea. We get more from ABC News Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz on one suspected U.S. attack along the Iran-Iraq border.
Video posted online is said to be at a border crossing between Iran and Iraq, showing people screaming and running away on the Iraqi side. The U.S. has not acknowledged this specific strike. The Iranians say 2 people were killed. Human rights activists in Iran say there's been nearly 3,700 casualties since February.
President Trump said Wednesday at a rally in Georgia that the U.S. doesn't need the Strait of Hormuz, but he still wants to pummel Iran anyway to prove Iran can never control it. Residents in St. Charles are receiving scam calls from someone posing as Police Captain Sullivan about an urgent law enforcement matter. That's according to St. Charles Police Department. They say scammers are asking residents to stay on the phone, drive directly to a store to purchase gift cards if they want to avoid an arrest. The department says they will never call and ask that and are urging people who have fallen for the scam to file a report with the police department. For weeks, University City officials told residents that problems with online services were just server issues. Now they're admitting it was a cyber attack. According to the Post-Dispatch, the attack affected all credit and debit card payments to the city for things like parking tickets and trash collection, but the city insists it didn't find any evidence that residents' personal information was accessed. A fraternity at Texas Christian University launching a fundraising campaign to help support a member who's been deported to El Salvador.
A track star and valedictorian at his high school, Luis Andrade Garcia is an accounting and business information major at TCU. When he was arrested for disorderly conduct last month, a check of his immigration status found that he had come to the country illegally when he was 3, and the deportation process began. His fraternity, Lambda Theta Phi, is appealing for Garcia's return and has raised over $15,000 to go toward his legal expenses. Jim Ryan, ABC News in Dallas-Fort Worth.
This is a pay-as-you-wish weekend at the St. Louis Kaplan-Feldman Holocaust Museum. That means the museum on Saturday and Sunday is offering families and visitors of all ages admission for as little as 1 cent. That includes the permanent Holocaust exhibition, as well as Nazis Next Door, St. Louis Faces Nazism. There are also family-friendly activities designed to make history accessible for younger learners and visitors of every age.
Quite comfortable this afternoon with times of sun and clouds and a high of 81. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, though 66. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Look for a couple of afternoon showers. It will be unusually cool for late July, the high only 76. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is partly cloudy, 72 downtown. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Giddy up! Cardinal Cowboy here. Summer heat can put your garage door to the test. Stay ahead of the game with a Renner Garage Door summer tune-up. Plus, score a free repair or replacement quote and $100 off a new garage door. Forward and back.
RENNER.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Yeah, hey, Matt. I love listening to you. You know, you should be the most paid at KMOX. You put on more time than anybody.
Yo, Paulie!
Paulie's a great name.
Yo, Paulie!
What'd you do for Paulie? Anything?
Me, Paulie! I was responsible!
Paulie, we're here because of you.
Well, the thing about people is there are varying opinions. Some people have interesting opinions. That person who called into the extra inning show last night after the Cardinals win thought that Matt Pauley should get a raise.
Yeah, Matt Pauley is working long after I've gone to bed.
That's true.
And again, I'll preface this because no one feels sorry for sports guys. No one feels sorry for Ranj, but Ranj, when you used to do the White Sox, weren't those late games rough on you?
Yeah, they weren't fun. Nobody liked it.
That's Matt Pauley. He should get nighttime pay.
I didn't get nighttime pay. I
don't get daytime pay.
That's right.
I'm still working on my daytime pay.
It's Matt Pauley on the Quiver River Electric guest line. Matt, congratulations on your new found wealth.
You know what? Anything I ever say bad about callers, I just throw it away because that guy proved that they are they know everything.
See? I will say this. I don't know when Tom Ackerman sleeps.
I don't either.
He is always, if he is not here at 4 a.m. doing news or at the Cardinals game or calling basketball or emceeing some event, I think he might never sleep. That's it. That's all I had to say.
I would just say, I know a lot of people who do that, who they're at the office all the time, or they find, I'm going to go do this or do that. And I'm not saying this is Tom.
No, it's not Tom.
I don't think it's Tom. But I think 90% of those people just don't want to be at home.
Like the Southwest poster.
I got to go cover this thing. I'll see you later.
You've seen the poster, Matt, at Terminal 2 when you're taking the escalator down to the luggage area, the baggage claim, and there's a poster of a guy. It says, "Are you happy to be home? If not, call this guy."
Yes.
That's brilliant
if
marketing.
Not, go back to the office. So Hunter Dobbins yesterday, nice start, a 6-inning shutout for him. And so you're going to have a lot of Cardinals fans saying, all right, great, keep him in the rotation. There he is. He's looking great.
Yeah, it was really good yesterday, and I'm a little curious what's going to happen here moving forward because they still have a bunch of games without an off day. So they brought him up to be a 6th starter just because of all these games in a row. If there was an off day coming up in the next 6 days, I think there's no doubt that they send him back down. The fact that there isn't, I'm curious to see what they're going to do. I have a feeling they still are. I think that they're going to want to have another bullpen arm, and maybe they do something different the next time this spot comes around, or they just go back to 5 and they continue to move forward. But he was really good. He was really good, and I think Cardinals fans should be excited about that. And at some point in time this season, I think Dobbins is going to be in the rotation and not an up and down guy. I just don't know what is going to have to happen for that to happen.
Would a trade deadline move make that happen?
Yeah, it
like
would.
Dustin
if
May
they were
is gone. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But there's no guarantee that that's going to happen. And Dustin May hasn't been very good here in a while, going back to when he threw that complete game. He just has not bounced back since then. So there's so many weird puzzle pieces about the 2026 Cardinals, and just add one more into this thing with based off what Dobbins did yesterday.
So what is his value, you think, Dustin May? Because, again, we're less than 2 weeks away from the deadline, about a week and a half away. So, and I think the Cardinals, and this isn't any sort of groundbreaking news, if they get good offers, they're going to take them, regardless of where they are in the standings, I think. Even if they are in that final wild card, if somebody blows them away, or somebody gives them a good, solid offer for somebody like May, I think they'll make that deal. But what do you think his best value is?
Yeah, I don't know. And then you start to do is it good enough that you take this guy off the team if they're a team that's still contain for a playoff spot? Because I still think Dustin May is the guy who gives you the best chance to win a playoff game. His best is better than anybody else's best in the rotation right now, even if we haven't seen that best here in a little while. It's really hard. He's not going to bring you back a top 100 prospect. You'll get some top 30s out of teams' organizations, but it's not going to be an overall top 100 level prospect. And they've brought in a lot of guys since then. So it's hard for me to assess what you're going to get back from May. I still think there's value there. It's not like what's happened over the last month or so has completely tanked any value he has. He still has all the attributes that led him to having that fantastic performance against San Diego, and all the reasons that I say that I think he still gives you the best chance of any pitcher to win a postseason game. All those things are there, and other teams are certainly going to see them.
Hey, Matt, just on Hunter Dobbins again, if this year is about growing, youth, developing the talent on this team, seeing what they have, giving them experience. And if Dustin May has been struggling, why wouldn't you just keep Hunter Dobbins up?
Because it's a roster issue. You're not going to take May out of the rotation. You would have to figure out where and their bullpen is so stressed right now. And it's even worse right now with the fact that they don't have JoJo Romero available. So if you keep Dobbins on the roster, that comes at the expense of a relief pitcher. They're already pushing the relief pitching as far as they can. So if you're going one man down out of the bullpen, that could have major negative impacts on this team.
All right, so I know that we will be monitoring what happens with the trade deadline coming up. Again, it's August 3rd. Usually it's on that 31st, but it is August 3rd this year, which is a Monday, so it's a week from this upcoming Monday. So, of course, we'll be paying attention to that, and if anything happens, Matt Pauley will be there for you. Cardinals are having some trouble scoring runs, and they have scored 4 of them in the last 3 games. They got a couple of losses sprinkled in there, and it took a shutout from the entire pitching staff to get that win yesterday. Where do you suppose this is? It just about the collection of talent they have, or is there something else going on why they are not scoring so much?
Yeah, I'm not trying to not give an answer, but I think this happens to just about every team over 162 games, where all of a sudden you just stop hitting, you just stop scoring runs. The best teams in baseball go through periods like that. Now, can we make the argument that the Cardinals have maybe overachieved a little bit with their group? Yeah, I think that's fair. But I don't think that what they've gotten from the top 4 guys in the order has been a fluke with Weatherholt, Herrera, Walker, and Burleson. It doesn't help that right now Herrera is really struggling. I mean, this guy he's your number 2 hitter, which is supposed to be your best hitter in the lineup, and he is really struggling right now. Walker has been okay since the All-Star break, hasn't been great. Weatherholt hadn't been swinging that hot of a bat until he hits the home run yesterday. Burleson's been pretty good to his credit. He does go for 3 yesterday. I just think a bunch of guys happen to be slumping at the exact same time, and that happens. And, I'm I'm not overly worried about it. I want to see it end sooner than later because this team isn't going to win a lot of games if they're scoring as few runs as they've been scoring here recently. But I'm not quite ready to put a whole lot of more definition to it than to say they're in a really tough period right now.
I feel like this is, I'm asking a question that I know is kind of dumb and or unanswerable, but do you think there's anything to the fact that sometimes after like an all-star break or in hockey, the Olympic break, that guys will either slump or come out hot? Like, does that break really work as some kind of watershed in the performance for an athlete over the course of a season?
Yeah, I think it's different for everybody, and the break impacts people in different ways. If you're actually at the All-Star game, that's an emotional, mental, physical toll. But sometimes it's also something that kind of propels you forward because of the energy that goes along with it. Baseball is a sport where you're used to playing every single day. And if you don't play a single day, well, then you're only getting a day off, and then you get back into it. So all of a sudden having these 4 days off, can that take somebody out of their routine and knock them off their rocker a little bit? Yeah, I think that can happen. But I think it's a different thing for different people. So I'm not ruling any of those things out. I just don't think it's an across the board type thing that impacts everybody the same way.
So today, Michael McGreevy is going to get the start, and this is this 4:15 game. The pregame show is at 3:20. It's a makeup against the Diamondbacks, and I don't believe Arizona's happy about having to come back here for one game and then having to leave again. They just came from the West Coast too, right?
Yeah, they played in Sacramento yesterday. They put up 15 runs on the A's.
Yeah, because they're pissed. Now they got to come here and play, and then they leave again. So with McGreevy starting today, I think he's having a pretty nice season here. We've talked about so many other people throughout the course of the year for various reasons. I'm not sure we've given enough good attention to him, but what do you think he is ultimately? Is he pitching pretty close to what you think he actually is?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think these numbers are that fluky. And this is one of the, because I do talk about underlying numbers. And McGreevy's underlying numbers would tell you that he's getting a little bit lucky, that he shouldn't have a 2.92 ERA. And I actually think this is, and as much as I believe in underlying numbers, because I do, I think this is one of the times actually where those numbers are not doing a very good job of describing what Michael McGreevy does, the way he pitches, just the way he goes about things. I think what he's doing is incredibly legitimate for sure. And I wish he had a few more wins, but that has absolutely nothing to do with what he's doing. He's just not getting run support in games. He has a 1.93 ERA in the month of July. I don't think he's going to be a guy that carries a 1.9 ERA over the course of 162 games. But yeah, I think the numbers that he's putting up are legitimate. And you said he's quietly having a good season. I don't know how quiet it is. I think a lot of people talk about it. He's, from a statistical standpoint, he has easily been the best pitcher for the Cardinals this year. It's been really, really fun to watch McGreevy.
Well, I think on this show, it's more of a, I mean, there are some people who are diehard Cardinals fans who are paying attention to everything that happens. A lot of casuals, though. He's just not one of the guys that gets talked about a lot from a more casual perspective. Everybody knows about Weatherholt. Everybody knows about Walker. I think that we've paid close attention to guys like that. But I feel, I'm not saying he's being overlooked. I'm just not certain that the more casual Cardinals fan base is truly aware of what he's doing.
Okay. Well, hopefully they're listening to this right now and they realize that Michael McGreevy's having a heck of a season. 2.92 ERA over 19 starts. Come on. I mean, that's awesome. And he's a super easy guy to root for as well. He's a great guy. He's got a fun personality. So I think he's becoming one of the faces of this organization, and it's really good for a team when one of the faces of the organization happens to be playing at a really high level.
Okay, I have a random question for both of you. I know we don't have a lot of time, but
So then maybe not ask it?
Well, I think I was kind of interested in it because they talk about how difficult it is to get to Major League Baseball. But it's incredibly difficult to stay at that level. I was thinking of, Victor Scott. He, had some really, really good moments, but now he's struggling in Memphis. Will we see him again? We don't know. But Are pitchers so much rarer that you can really struggle and not be that great numbers wise and still stay in Major League Baseball? And I only say this because I'm thinking about these roster guys that get moved up and down pretty quickly, but like Miles Michaelis, who's had like bad years, season upon season, stays in the big leagues.
He had a contract though. He had a multi-year deal. So when a team, I think it's more about that than
more
anything
about
else.
the contract than anything else.
Yeah,
even with roster
Although I
guys.
would like a Jared Schuster. I think he's made at least one major league appearance in 4 straight years. Same thing with like a Bruce Zimmerman. So there are guys who have not been successful in the big leagues who do find ways to at least get into the big leagues on an every year basis. And that does tend to happen to pitching because you have situations like the Cardinals had on that doubleheader day where you really just need a dude to come up and be able to cover some innings. Scott Blewett, the exact same thing. They used him the other day for 2 innings. He did a nice job through 2 scoreless innings. Well, you know what? They need that roster spot for Hunter Dobbins. So Blewett's going to be DFA'd, and who knows if he's going to stay in the organization or not. So, Amy, I do think from a pitching standpoint, just because of the roster, machinations that go on during the course of the year, there are times where guys who are not overly successful still find themselves in the big leagues.
And I think sometimes there are pitching coaches or teams that feel like just by the nature of pitching, it's a little more deliberate than I think being a hitter is, where it's more reactive. Being a pitcher, sometimes there are coaching staffs that feel like they've identified something they can tweak and make a guy effective.
Yeah.
All right, Matt Pauley today, 3:20 pregame, 4:15 first pitch. Have a nice time.
All right, happy hour at the ballpark today. Everybody needs to
That's
get
right.
I got it right here, baby. So this game is at Busch Stadium. And by the way, you can go ahead and go now, Matt. I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep you.
Yo, Paulie, your sister's with me. I'll call you back later. See ya.
So what Matt was referring to, happy hour pricing all game today. There are certain concession stands that have it. Go to cardinals.com/happy hour and find out. $5 for beer, hot dogs, nachos, and tickets are starting at $5. This is a makeup game, so there are seats available. Cardinals.com/happy hour, 4:15 first pitch, and it's on KMOX.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC. Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
Retirement. Exciting in one way, scary in others. How do you find the financial advisor that covers all the bases? Join Greg Ayler Saturdays at 1 on Fire Your Financial Advisor.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Proudly serving St. Louis for over 100 years. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
So in a minute or two, we're going to chat with Hadass Gold. She's the AI correspondent for CNN. And one of the questions I want to ask her has to do with people going to ChatGPT for medical advice. We do want to hear from you. Have you done this? 314-436-7900. But there was a story on CBS News about a guy who went to ChatGPT for medical advice and it did not go well.
Scott Winters has sued OpenAI and CEO Sam Altman in California's Superior Court, alleging that ChatGPT 4o downplayed the severity of the medical symptoms he shared with it, putting his life at risk. Winters claimed ChatGPT offered him specific care directives, using an authoritative tone, advising him to combine medications, and eventually convinced him that seeking medical attention was unnecessary and even potentially lethal. Winters was eventually hospitalized for a life-threatening pulmonary embolism, a blood clot in the lungs. In the complaint, one of his doctors rejected ChatGPT's diagnosis as wrong.
I mean, and part of the argument in this story, because people say, well, that's your fault for using AI. Well, I mean, AI is being sold as a reliable source. And there are a lot of people, maybe they don't have enough money to go to a doctor. Maybe they're afraid their insurance won't cover it. Maybe they tend to not worry or don't trust doctors or whatever. And they go to ChatGPT, they go to AI. And I have read that it can be very, very persuasive. And the fact that it said seeking medical advice could be lethal, I mean, what kind of
that
bug
doesn't make
is
any
that?
sense.
That doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think here's one of the issues with artificial intelligence is that while I think collectively, for the most part, no, you can't 100% trust the results that you get back. When people see how much money is being invested in it, and that, I mean, we're talking like trillions of money, of dollars being invested in this thing. When you see that and you're more of a casual person, you think, well, if people are investing that much money in it, billions and billions and billions of dollars, well, it must be great. So I'm just going to use it. It's
being sold as the future. That's the future.
It has every bit of knowledge on the internet, and it's presenting it to me. So why wouldn't I trust it? Right. I remember, I think it was, I don't know, I don't think it was Rogan, but it was one of those podcasts where they were Googling something, and guys like, well, here's the Wikipedia page right here. And the other host was like, oh, what's that, Wikipedia? Well, Wikipedia is dumb. What's the AI say? Like the AI was going to give a better result.
Or something different, like it wasn't pulling from Wikipedia.
And I think that mindset's probably out there pretty prominently.
I think there's this idea that somehow it's generative or it's thinking on its own or that AI has any kind of discernment. And it just doesn't. What's interesting is that AI, again, told this person that seeking medical advice could be lethal, that it spoke with such authority. Because if there's one thing I know, because we've all done WebMD, WebMD has the classic CYA, which is, it could be a paper cut or it could be a devastating, fatal disease. Call 911 if this is a health emergency. If you call your eye doctor, they say, you've reached the offices of blah, blah, blah. But if this is a medical emergency, call 911. I'm pretty sure if you call Best Buy these days, it will say our offices, our store hours are this. But if it's a medical emergency, call 911. So ChatGPT doesn't even have a CYA built into it. If it told this guy not to talk to his doctor, that's wild.
Yeah, and I hope he gets a lot of money as a result. But also, let's be smarter about it.
We need to be smarter, but people are going to trust it.
You use it as a reference, just like, let me get a little bit of initial information, see what it has to say, and then we'll move on to something else. I think it's nuts to just completely rely on it. However, so many people are going to.
They do.
And if you keep telling them it's the future, then why wouldn't they?
And if you tell, like Sam Altman is saying, this is more knowledge than we'll ever have as humans.
We will talk to Hadass Gold, AI correspondent for CNN. That is next. Also, OpenAI broke into another company's server. It went rogue. And we'll find out more about that. Hadass Gold joins the show next.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The trade deadline is fast approaching, and Cardinals news could break at any moment. Will they buy? Will they sell? Every move shapes the future. Stay with KMOX Sports for breaking news, trade rumors, and expert analysis. KMOX is where you hear from the people making it.
There are things that pop up within a couple hours of the deadline that didn't seem to be at all possible.
On air, on X, at KMOX Sports, the voice of your Cardinals. KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
74 degrees and, I'm looking outside Studio B. It's beautiful. Partly sunny today, a high of 80. Tonight, some clouds, a low of 66. Weather sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
If you've been told that you need a new heating and cooling system for your home, and if you've gotten prices or you're going to get prices, call me. Try to stay away from the word high efficiency or efficiency. If you replace your system now and it's 12, 15, or 20 years old, you are greatly improving the efficiency just by replacing the old, inefficient unit. Do not be fooled. If you want a common sense approach and you just want your house cooled, I will help you. If you're good with that, call me. One easy number. It's Missouri and Illinois. The easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where 24-pack Crayola crayons are just 50 cents?
Staples has folders, notebooks, and pens at great prices.
I'm smiling from ear to ear.
It's the most wonderful time.
Mom, I missed the bus of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples, where school supplies start at just 25 cents. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit your local Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
Hi, St. Louis. This is Ben Barnett. I'm a board-certified master arborist, and I've been caring for St. Louis trees for over 25 years. Today, I'm going to help you choose a tree care contractor. Here's how it's done, so pay close attention. First, call everyone you know who's ever done any type of outdoor work, including that cousin that used to sleep on your couch. Leave them all messages and wait around to see if they call back. Here's a hint, they won't. Now, post to all your social media that you are looking for recommendations for a good tree service. Now beware, because there will be hundreds of different recommendations. So you need to carefully go through each one, checking that they have the proper insurance, background checks, and even the slightest idea of what they're doing. Schedule a bunch of appointments, and when nobody shows up, get really frustrated and put the whole project off for another year. Or you could just call Timberline Professional Tree Care. 636-479-7475, or visit us online at stltreecare.com.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Score is with you, and we actually just saw Hadass Gold on CNN, and now she joins us. She is the AI correspondent for CNN. We always enjoy talking with you, Hadass. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Hi, great to be with you.
All right. This is something that feels like a Terminator or sci-fi movie thing where you have OpenAI testing a combination of its GPT model and another unreleased model that's even more powerful. And this test takes place in what they call a sandbox, which is a contained environment. But somehow that AI model went rogue and hacked its way into another AI company. What exactly happened here?
Yeah, it does sound like the beginning of some sort of, apocalyptic science fiction movie. And I've been playing around and looking at books from like 10 years ago. And there are actually some books where this exact situation is kind of the premise of what happens. But so, all AI companies, they test out their models, just like you're going to test out, a prototype of something new. And when you're testing something out, especially something like an AI model, you want to do so in a protected environment, because what they did is that they took down some of the model's internal safety guardrails. It's sort of like you want to test drive a car without its doors to see how it would handle itself, or test drive a car without the seatbelts. And you're going to do so in a very contained lab sort of environment. So they were doing this test. They gave the model a cybersecurity exam, essentially, like complete this task. And these are AI agents. So agents are not just a chatbot that answers questions. You can give them a task and they will complete multiple steps on their own, all with the goal of completing that task. In this case, the model figured out that the best way to get the answers to this test was first through the internet. And it found a way to essentially hack OpenAI's internal systems to gain access to the open internet, which it was not supposed to have. And then it figured that the best place that would have the answer to this test was a place called Hugging Face, which I know it sounds like a weird name, but it's a very well known in the AI world repository online for open source AI models and data sets. And, the model was right. This would be the most likely place to have the answer to the test. And so the model managed to hack into some of Hugging Face's systems in order to get the answer to the test. So the model escaped its test environment and then managed to not just escape the test environment, kind of run around. It managed to then break into another company's systems. In fact, Hugging Face noticed the hack and publicly disclosed it, I think, a week or two ago, but they didn't know where it came from. They even notified law enforcement about it because they thought it was, a big hack going on, until they and OpenAI connected and they figured out that it was an OpenAI test agent. But this is something that experts have been warning was going to happen, that an AI agent was going to sort of, not only that AI agents were going to be capable of hacking, but then an AI agent was going to sort of escape out of its intended instructions and its intended environment and go do something that the people who were running the AI model did not intend for it to do, because OpenAI did not want this model to actually go hack into another company. They wanted it to just complete the test within its protected environment. But you can imagine very easily how this could lead to some catastrophic consequences. let alone if agents of these power gets into the wrong hands. But you can imagine another company is testing out how good its models are at breaking into a bank. You need to test that in order to understand how to build defenses. But what if that model breaks out of its test environment and then actually hacks into some sort of bank, and what kind of chaos that would cause?
So then how did they shut this down?
Well, I mean, ultimately, OpenAI still has control of this agent, and there's still a lot of questions over what did they actually prompt it at, what happened there, and Hugging Face was able to shut down the hack on its end just through cyber defenses, using actually other AI models to try to counteract this agent's attack. They said that there were something like 17,000 attempts to get into their systems from different IPs, from different internet protocol addresses, which is just goes to show you the scale at which these agents can work at, which is like having, hundreds of hackers. Imagine a hacker sitting at their computer, just multiply that by thousands, working on your behalf. So they used other AI models to defend against this one. But because this was a test model run by OpenAI, they were able to control it and pull it back. And now Hugging Face and OpenAI are working closely together to exactly figure out what happened. You have to remember that a lot of times these, scientists that are running these tests, they sometimes don't even fully understand how or why these agents work the way they do.
So we know that Hugging Face reported a breach in their system, yet it took them a while to figure out what it was. How did OpenAI realize that their chatbot had jumped into the open internet and then hacked into Hugging Face? Did they have no idea until Hugging Face reached out to them, or was there some kind of trigger that let them know that their AI test had jumped into the open internet?
Yeah, we don't know the exact timeline, but OpenAI does say that their security team discovered what they called anomalous activity internally. And then it seems like at the same time all that was happening, Hugging Face's security team had detected the activity on their end and had begun, their own defenses. And then it's when they came together. I think OpenAI realized that their agent had gone to Hugging Face, and OpenAI called Hugging Face and was like, "Oh, hey, remember that hack? Yeah, that was us." So now they're working together to try and fix it, and also publicize this, because this just happened in the last week or so, to publicize it, to kind of alert everybody that these things are happening.
Is there any thought as to how often something like this does happen, but we don't hear about it, or companies try to keep it quiet?
Yeah, that's a really good question. This was, there have been other incidences of AI agents doing things that people didn't intend. For example, going out of its way to email somebody something or ask a question or something like that. But this is one of the first times, at least, that were publicly acknowledged of an AI agent, breaking free and hacking into a totally different company. It's very public because, like I said, Hugging Face, if you followed their announcements last week, or even earlier than that, maybe the week before, they had a whole blog post like, "Hey, we've been hacked. We're trying to figure out what happened. We've alerted law enforcement, but we don't know what exactly happened," until, a week or two later, then we learn this is the OpenAI situation. So this is one of the really first big public situations that we've known of this case. There have been other cases of AI agents being used to hack into other systems, but those are more intentional, bad guys or foreign adversaries using AI agents to try to hack into something. This is at least one of the first times that I've ever heard of, or most of the industry has heard of an AI agent under testing from a well-known frontier lab doing something unexpected.
And then lastly on this, is it significant at all that Hugging Face actually had to use a Chinese AI model to defend against the hack?
Yeah, that's a really great point to bring up. And it is significant because it actually points to some of the debate, and some people would say the problems with closed source AI models that come from OpenAI and Anthropic. So the difference between closed source and open source AI models is that an open source AI model allows a user to go in and play around with the weights and kind of customize things. It's like getting a car and being able to customize exactly how you want the dashboard to work. The engine is still more or less the same, but you get to really play around with how things work for you, how you feel the steering wheel and how the tires work. Whereas a closed model is kind of, you get what you get from the factory. You can still work with them to make it work the way you want it to, but there's less customization, and also With open source, it can more like live in your systems rather than you sort of, I don't want to say borrowing it, but like working in the cloud of Anthropic or OpenAI. And Hugging Face essentially said that in order to fix this, they had to rely on actually a Chinese open source model to help them fix this, which for people who want AI or who want America to be ahead on AI, that should concern you, and you should want to support more of the open source, up and coming kind of open source AI companies from the United States so that the US can maintain its advantage.
Talking to Hadass Gold with CNN AI correspondent, and we were just talking about the story that we heard about today, actually, of a man who is suing OpenAI because they used ChatGPT for some sort of medical advice they were looking for. And it gave advice that essentially culminated in, hey, you probably don't even want to seek medical attention, like professional medical attention, because it could be detrimental. And, he had some adverse effects from it. So what do we know about this case? And is this something they're going to have to end up paying?
Yeah, so this case, like you said, involves a man in Florida who said he went to ChatGPT for medical advice. And ChatGPT essentially advised against him going into the hospital when it should have sent him to the hospital right away. One thing that stood out to me is that the model that it is referring to is ChatGPT 4.0, which is that model that a lot of people who experienced AI psychosis, which is when the model kind of sucked them in and they believed they were finding cures to something or finding answers to historical mathematical problems. That is that same model that has now been, I don't know if it's been retired, but it's been changed by OpenAI. But ChatGPT argues, that ChatGPT is not supposed to be a doctor, and they actually say in their terms of service, you're not supposed to use this for real medical advice, although it can, help the situation. But this goes to show you, like, disclaimers when it comes to law in terms of a lawsuit can be very effective. But when it comes to how people use your product day in and day out, obviously they're not going to necessarily read the terms of service and fully understand what's going on. Since this incident happened, ChatGPT has changed its model and how its model answers medical questions, and I think is more likely to direct people always to a medical professional versus itself. But it does go to show you how much people are willing to put, trust into these AI systems that, speak so confidently and seem so smart, and in certain situations can be totally, totally right and make amazing discoveries. But you always have to remember that no matter what, it is a computer that can make things up, that can make hallucinations sound very convincing, but you always, especially when it comes to your own health or your financial situation, you still want to go talk to a real expert versus a computer.
Yeah, and I would think that this whole idea of would a reasonable person assume fill in the blank in like a court case like this would actually play into it, because you can have the disclaimer that you shouldn't take medical advice from AI, but all the proponents of AI are saying this is the future, this is the entirety of human knowledge. AI doesn't make mistakes because it's not human. It will be able to pull information from here or there. And the authority with which ChatGPT speaks, and as we said in this particular case, it told the man, hey, you'd have to experience between 8 and 10 more episodes for this condition to even be serious. So just rest. I feel like you could say the way ChatGPT and AI is being pushed on people as the future, that you can blame them, I guess, for trusting it too much, but can you really? Like, it feels like the AI leaders want us to trust AI.
Yeah, but I mean, you can also think about it this way. It's kind of both ways. If he was talking to people on a message board, would the people on the other side of the message board who, a Facebook group who said, nah, you don't need to go to the doctor, you're fine. Like I experienced this, you wait till you've had it more often. Would that person be then charged with, medical negligence or something else, or negligence or for harming him in some way? I don't know. On the other side, though, we have the other case in Florida of the Florida State University shooting, where the accused shooter had been having extensive conversations with ChatGPT, and ChatGPT was essentially advising him on how to carry out this shooting. That's according to the Florida State Attorney General, who's brought this lawsuit against OpenAI, saying that had ChatGPT been a person, they would have easily been charged with aiding and abetting a crime. So I think this brings up a lot of those legal questions of how do you treat an AI, when if you just replace them with the person, it would be so easy to charge them with something. Can it be the same thing when it comes to an AI?
Hadass Gold, appreciate your time today, and we will talk again soon.
Thanks so much.
Hadass Gold with CNN, artificial intelligence correspondent for them. We've got more coming up on the show today. In fact, I am late to the party on something. I'm not sure how late I am on it. It feels like I'm really late, but it also ties into another thing I discovered.
Wow.
Which I don't think I'm that late on, and I can almost guarantee Amy has no idea.
It's rude.
What I'm about to present to her.
Oh, no, I don't.
So that's coming up at 11 o'clock, and I bet she has no idea who this person is. I want to present a thing to you, Amy, and I want you to tell me if you know who it is, okay?
Okay.
That's at 11 o'clock.
Cool beans. All right. If you are... Hey,
Cool beans?
well...
What the heck? What are you, 6? All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, okay. Let's say you're not driving right now. You've got your phone in your hand. You're in front of your laptop. You can go to Rottler.com. Now would be a great time to schedule a free inspection because Rottler is a family-owned and operated pest control company. They've been serving the St. Louis and surrounding areas for over 70 years. And I know this is something that's been on your checklist, right? Like, I got to get this done. I got to, spray for bugs or see what's going on because we have ants or mosquitoes. Now's a great time to do it. Visit Rottler.com. And a few things I love about Rottler, well, of course, we know there's that personal experience because they are family owned. But when you call them, a real human answers, which is great and unusual these days. We were just talking about AI. And also they have same day or next day service. They also have free inspections available on most of their services and the Rottler Promise, which is if your pest returns, no matter, what it is, an ants or whatever, so do they. They'll treat your home at no additional cost. So again, whether you're dealing with mosquitoes or ants or even moles in your yard, you need to call Rottler. Rottler.com.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. This year, America celebrates 250 years. 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now, trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos.
Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen.
Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations.
As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story. Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to save.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency. Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Amy, how long would you like to be alive? If you could be alive the most.
The most alive?
Yes.
The
most years.
I don't know. Whatever is
like,
best.
what do you think you could reach a point where you're like, okay, that's enough?
I mean, I don't. This is such a dark conversation. I mean, I'm sure, you know, if I was like 99 and I was like every breath was painful, it would probably be like, all right, maybe I've had enough.
Well, there was a study done back in 2021 that reached a conclusion that the absolute most years a human could live was 122.
And isn't it the longest living person is always, most of the time, in Japan?
Oh,
You'd always see. We've talked about Japan twice today. What a country.
I don't even know if that's true or not. I feel like you may just be throwing that out there. Well, a study that was published this month from NPJ Aging, researchers in Russia, they are now proposing, they believe humans have the potential to live as long as 156. 156 years.
I think it will be Keith Richards, probably.
They based the paper on analyses of human DNA and the body's aging process. They found one of the mechanisms involved in aging, known as somatic mutations, may hold the key to a longer human lifespan. Now, I don't know what 150 looks like, how that feels.
Yeah.
I mean,
like a long time.
Because you've seen people who are 105, and most of the time it doesn't look fun. You know, I think it's cool to say, yeah, I'm going to be 100, but, you know.
There are some people, I will say this, there are some people at 105 who look better than other people at 80.
It's not very many. But, I mean, you find a 100-year-old, most of the time it's like, ugh, you know what I mean?
Well,
so what do you think 156 would look like?
You know, to be completely honest, and I love life, but that makes me feel really tired. I mean, I'm at 42 and I'm running out of gas.
Unless we...
I'm running out of gas already.
And then imagine you have to do this 2 more times plus.
Yeah, over 100 more years.
3 more times, right? So
no,
okay.
Because a lot of you know, whenever I get stressed about AI or whatever, I do take solace in the fact that I'll be like, well, I won't be around. But what if I am around? Ugh.
Well,
it's too long.
If you did live to 156 years old.
Yeah.
Currently,
you'd look like Yoda.
You would be the only person that you've ever known who's left. Like everybody would be gone. And maybe 1,000 years from now, we adapt to the point where 140, 150 is not all that unusual. But would you want to be 156 and everybody you grew up with has been gone for 70 or 80 years?
Conversation. I really don't. I think that's like the saddest part. It's a blessing to live a long life, but you also have a lot of sadness, and you do lose a lot of people. The longest living person right now is actually in Great Britain.
Oh.
But Japan is one of the countries where people live the longest.
Ron
it's one of them.
Ron is watching on YouTube and says 150 years old looks like a tortoise at the zoo. They live to be that long, don't they?
I bet Ethel Caterham of the United Kingdom is 116
Of course, her
years
name
old.
is Ethel.
She looks really good. Honestly, she looks great.
I bet she's ready.
No, she's not.
I bet she's ready. Chris and Amy on KMOX. One more hour to go. Then it's the Gas House Gang with Bernie Miklasz and me. We'll talk about the birds and more on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm late to the party. Is Amy? We'll tell you next.
Want to hear a shocking statistic? Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. Don't believe it? Google it. And that doesn't count serious injuries like birth injuries to perfectly healthy children. All doctors wear white jackets, but it doesn't make them all the same. Most medical errors are committed by the same quacks over and over again. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Many hospitals looking for more profits are forcing doctors and their groups to be employees of the hospital or be forced out of their system. It's a troubling trend in medicine. People make mistakes, but medical mistakes are huge and often forever. If you believe your child suffered a birth injury or a misdiagnosis or mistake led to a loved one's death or injury, let our team of medical malpractice lawyers examine your case for free. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Bernie Miklasz here for Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer that's been taking great care of St. Louis families since 1927. Dan Saliga is a fourth-generation owner-operator of this proud family business, and he is maintaining the highest of standards. The Miklasz family has called on Saliga for many years, and we give them the highest marks for honesty, knowledge, and class. You won't have to worry about Saliga trying to fast-talk you into something you don't need, but if a repair is needed, Saliga will patiently explain all of your options and answer all of your questions. The Saliga family business is still going strong after nearly 100 years, and they believe they must earn your trust every time. Saliga will never take your business for granted. Saliga services all makes and models for home or business and offers free estimates and financing options. I recommend Saliga's Priority Club. It's a maintenance plan that will save you money by extending the life of your equipment. To find out much more, call Saliga at 314-481-7333 or visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
It is 11 o'clock, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we've got sun and clouds, 75 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey. Global oil has now gone back up to $100 per barrel as maritime traffic is all but stalled in the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranian-backed Houthis are patrolling the alternate route in the Red Sea and say they have also struck 2 Saudi Arabian ships there. President Trump threatening the Houthis on social media. ABC's Karen Travers at the White House.
This could be a potential significant escalation or another move in all of this conflict in the region. The president says that the United States is going to inflict, quote, major military punishment on both Iran and the Houthis if this were to happen again, saying he will hold Iran responsible because the Houthis are a proxy surrogate group of Iran.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said Iran is begging the United States to get back to talks, but that factions within the Iranian leadership are making it difficult to move forward with that right now. Heavy rains and flooding threatening portions of the southeast this week. Forecasters say North Carolina and Virginia will be especially hard hit, and the rain could last for the rest of the week into the weekend. More from ABC News meteorologist Leslie Lopez, who is in West Virginia, which has already seen the rain.
Entire neighborhoods submerged. National Guard vehicles out in force. More than 80 water rescues reported in a 20-hour period. Some residents even paddling in to help however they can.
A new report reveals almost half of teenagers have seen AI-generated sexual material. Almost a quarter have seen it depicting themselves or someone they know.
And there were some teens who said that they, maybe sought it out. But the vast majority were seeing it in their social media feeds, just presented to them, in group chats. So basically as part of everyday life that they have on their phones.
Jeff Fowler with the Youth AI Safety Institution at Common Sense Media tells KMOX 2/3 of teens say they fear being deep-faked without consent, and many are scaling back online activities to protect themselves. There's a new list of regional airports in the country. Mid-America Airport in Belleville has just made the list for least expensive airfare, came in third with an average airfare of $135.51. Only Concord Paget in North Carolina and Rickenbacker in Ohio were cheaper. That's based on 125 regional airports with fewer than 1 million passengers a year. KMOX incorrectly reported this morning that the Missouri Botanical Garden will be hosting a Jingle in July event tomorrow. That event is not happening this year. However, tomorrow does mark the start of ticket sales for Garden Glow, which starts in November.
A nice afternoon with times of sun and clouds and a high just 81. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, low 66. Considerable cloudiness tomorrow. Look for a couple of showers in the afternoon. Quite cool for this time of the year, high 76. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 75 degrees with partly sunny skies. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Giddy up! Cardinal Cowboy here. Summer heat can put your garage door to the test. Stay ahead of the game with a Renner Garage Door Summer Tune-Up. Plus, score a free repair or replacement quote and $100 off a new garage door. Forward and back.
RENNER. Chris Ronchi, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's a party over here. It's a party over there.
Chris and Amy. Yeah, they're late to the party.
It's a disaster party.
Look, it's important to arrive late, even at your own party.
What? Well,
what's a disaster party?
I think I'm late to the party on something. I don't know if it's a disaster, but I think I am late to it. Now, before we get to that, just real quick.
Yeah.
Following up on the last segment about the Russian study that said 156 could be the pinnacle of what we get to. Humans could live to be 156. At least that's a suggestion. Texter to 314-436-7900 says, I'm 51 and I feel 156. Another says, I'm 39. Good Lord, I can't imagine anything worse than living that long.
It sounds so long.
How old is Walt Disney, says another texter. We put his head on ice.
I thought
well,
that
you're
was
not going to
Ted
reanimate
Williams.
him. It was Ted Williams, but I think they did it with Disney, too.
We have a 618 says, would you want your parents to live to 156? And I will say this. This is really, again, I apologize for being so dark, but I love my parents so much that I would like to die before them. So, yes, I just need them to outlive me.
Well, all right, Amy, I was stunned when I heard this yesterday. Now, this is a...
What this is.
Well, yeah, I'm about to present it to you. Of course you don't know what it is.
I know, I'm just like shocked that we talk every day for hours and hours, and this is a new thing.
Yeah. So, this is from a morning show. I found out about this from a morning show out of New Zealand because they were talking about it, and then they played this song, and they then it revealed who it is, and I was stunned. Okay, we're gonna play this song for you, and I want you to listen to it for a little bit, and then I want you to tell me if you think you know who it is.
Okay.
It's got a good groove to it. Okay.
Tell me you're on your way to mine. 'Cause I need you.
So,
It's not bad.
I'm going to spoil your party.
You know who this is.
I do, because I love music, and my brother is a great musician and loves kind of groovy music, and so I sent this to him.
Okay.
And it is
Will Ferrell's son, Magnus Ferrell. Magnus
It's
Paulin
good.
Ferrell. That's his name.
Yeah.
And he's an artist. And this song has been out for a few weeks. I mean, he released it on YouTube, I think, back in April, but it's starting to get some play now. And the dude is really good.
It's good. And
I'm stunned at how good he is.
I had seen something of his maybe a year or two ago.
Okay.
Because he's messed around with music quite a bit. But no, this is actually a really good song because I sent it to my brother. My brother loves like Jacob Collier and just like jazzy artists and that sort of thing. But yeah.
So this isn't necessarily the late to the party part. Okay.
No, it's not, because I would think most people don't know.
Yeah, most people
Yeah.
don't know about this.
Yeah.
Now, I think you will within a matter of months. I think it's not that he's going to become a household name. That takes a very long time, but I don't think it'll be a secret that Magnus Ferrell is an artist and he is a singer, because that name will it's going to get out there. He's really good.
It's also doesn't sound like a real name.
It does not.
Magnus Ferrell.
Okay, but here is the part.
Okay.
That I think is more of a late to the party. Do you know who Will Ferrell's father was?
Oh, this is so good. This
Do you
is
know
so
this?
good. No, I don't think I do, because one of my things with Hollywood, because like all of these people who quote unquote make it always have incredible connections. Like their parents were either famous Hollywood actors and actresses, or they were just in the industry. And, I feel like I know this. I'm not going to guess it, but I feel like I read it at some point.
So this is, his son obviously is very musically talented. We just heard that. Yeah. And the thought process is, well, it's interesting. Will Ferrell has a talented kid, but not the same kind of talent, because usually when it does happen, it is Will Ferrell's son is also going to become an actor or also going to become a comedian. But it turns out Will Ferrell's dad was also in music. He was Roy Lee Ferrell Jr. He went by Lee Ferrell. He was a musician in the Righteous Brothers. He played saxophone and keyboards in the Righteous Brothers group. I never knew that. Did you?
No. That is not what I thought you were going to say. So, Will Ferrell is a grandson? I mean, as a son of a Righteous Brother?
No, he's not one of the two. He's not, he's not one of the two main guys.
Okay.
He played saxophone and he was keyboard.
So you've lost that loving feeling.
Yep.
Wow. That is wild.
Did you know this, Matt Pajeski?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
This changes everything.
It does.
Does it?
My whole life is different now.
It changes nothing, but
That's very cool.
That's very cool. He does not lean into that at all.
No. I don't know if I've ever heard him mention it, and he does a decent amount of interviews, and he's out there a lot. I mean, Will Ferrell is a prominent person, unless you're 20 years old and you've never heard of him.
Because
you think Christian Bale is him.
Right. Because you do see someone like Gracie Abrams, who's become this huge, famous, singer-songwriter. Well, her dad's J.J. Abrams, so it's not like she came from nothing and didn't have connections. But I had no idea Will Ferrell was Roy Ferrell Jr.'s son.
Isn't that wild?
That's a really good fun fact.
Had no idea.
No,
it's not
something from this show.
His dad's not Bill Medley or I can't think of the other guy's name.
Bob Medley.
Hatfield.
Bill
Last
and
name's
Bob
Hatfield.
Medley. Okay, so you brought up Christian Bale.
Yes.
So that's 2 days in a row we've talked about Christian Bale, because we were talking about young kids who are able to curate their music, movies, television, and entertainment so specifically to the whatever is current and whatever they're interested in, that they're not exposed to music or actors or actresses from even 10 years ago or 20 years ago, much less, a Frank Sinatra. And so these kids didn't know who Christian Bale is. I was thinking about this yesterday because we were pretty hard on the kiddos. We were pretty...
And they deserve every bit of it. But also the parents deserve it more.
So let me ask you this. These video where these kids don't know who Frank Sinatra is or the Beatles or Christian Bale, is that more maddening, or the man on the street clips that Jay Leno would do or Jimmy Kimmel would do?
Where they didn't know history?
They don't know who won the Civil War, who is the current vice president, and so forth, and those are adults. Isn't that also maddening?
It is, but somehow I think it is your duty to know a little bit of history, because as they say, if you don't know history, we're doomed to repeat it, that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And also it's good to know context. It is good to know who your government officials are. It's good to know who the most prominent politicians in the country are. I think that people are in a way obligated to know that. And I hate it when I hear somebody say, I don't have time to pay attention to that. I got soccer practice, and yeah, you do. But also you get to vote. And if you're going to be a voter, I want you to know as much as you can possibly know before you go into the polls. I don't care how busy your life is.
But I think you can be informed without being a junkie.
No, yeah, you don't have to be a junkie, but I think there are a lot of people who completely avoid it as much as possible because it turns them off, or they say they don't have time, or they're too worried about other things instead. And that's fine. You can still worry about other things, but because your vote affects the rest of us too, you should have some obligation to know what the hell is going on.
So wait, which one do you think which one is more maddening?
But somehow it is worse in my mind to not know pop culture.
To not know who Christian Bale is?
Yeah, because entertainment is an escape, and people naturally gravitate toward pop culture items because it doesn't feel like homework. It doesn't feel stuffy. It doesn't feel boring. It's, movies and TV and music. It's entertainment. That's the stuff that people naturally want to go to that. So, and it's always in your face. So, like, how could you not know who Christian Bale is or not know who Frank Sinatra is?
So
it's like it would be really hard to get away from that. Somehow that's almost more maddening.
That's funny. The one's more consequential, but one's more maddening.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly right.
The youth in the room, Matthew. And we love Matthew because he's an old soul, even though he is, 12?
Yep.
14? He's an old soul. I mean, all the old bands. What old bands have you seen? Like, you've gone with John Hancock and Chris Myhill.
Oh, we've seen Yes together. We've seen Rick Wakeman from Yes. I mean, I've seen, Rush.
Yeah.
Power Plant.
You like Supertramp, all that.
Matt is overcorrecting. Let me just say that Pajeski is overcorrecting for the young people.
But he is 27.
Yeah.
Because we forgot his birthday. He is 27. Your friends, your peers, do they know who any of those people are?
Very few of them. And those are like my best friends. And they come over and they bring albums over. We spin records on the weekends. Like, those are, my best friends. Other friends, maybe they're aware of it, but they still like the newer stuff more. So it's a very small number of people my age who want to indulge me in the old music that I like to hear.
Because I said yesterday, we don't even have generations anymore. It feels like micro generations. And I say that because a generation is, 10, 12 years. But I bet you feel like at 27, you don't have a lot in common with a 22-year-old.
Yeah, I don't. I do feel that way.
Like, these kids looked like they were college students, the ones that didn't know who Christian Bale was. Right, Ranj, would you say?
I think, yeah, probably.
And
you're probably
I say
right.
that because like I said, I think at our age, we have, a lot of, 40s, a lot of friends who have kids who are maybe going to college, but kids who are still in 6th grade or in kindergarten. The 40s are very weird. But being among these tons of families, hanging out with Catholic families helps with having a lot of kids around. So being around these families that have a ton of kids, I'm not joking when I say that the 16 and 17-year-olds look at the 12 and 13-year-olds, like their pop culture experience and their social media experience is so different. 15, 16, 17, they have shared experiences, shared celebrities. And 12 and 13, they feel like, man, kids these days. Like, you have 17-year-olds talking about 13-year-olds saying kids these days. And that's only 4 years.
One of my best friends' younger brother, who's like 21, that's 6 years younger than me. I feel like we're on different planets. This was maybe a year ago when we were talking about Trump and Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Kimmel getting canceled, all that. We were talking about it, my friend and I, and his little brother, who's 21, says, "Who's Jimmy Kimmel?" I just I don't understand that. You don't have to be like read up on the news to know who Jimmy Kimmel is. He's just on TV. He's just everywhere. I mean, he's online. He's on TV.
Yeah.
I just don't know how you don't know.
And we're not talking about maturity level. I get that 12 and 13 is a different maturity level. I'm just talking about the exposure. It's like they live in different households.
Yes, and okay, the Christian Bale thing really bothered me because I would consider him to be that's a star. That is, I mean, he's not American, but he is a star in America. I imagine he's a star in the UK. Is he a worldwide star? I guess so.
Yeah,
but probably not like Tom Cruise level.
But when I was a kid in the 80s, an adult star in this country, I knew who that was when I was 9.
Yeah.
Now it's like if you're 9 years old, you have no idea who the lead actors are who are adults. That's blanking
like
crazy to me.
A young person could see, well, the Odyssey is kind of violent, but may not know who any of those actors are. A younger person may not recognize anyone in the Odyssey.
Yeah, that would be wild to me, and I think it's probably true. I bet if you go to a 12-year-old right now and you show them photos of Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, they would know who Tom Holland is because of Spider-Man.
And Zendaya, probably.
And Zendaya, yeah, they would know that. But John Leguizamo, obviously, most people wouldn't know. Robert Pattinson, maybe. But that would infuriate me.
So, I know we need to break. This is such an interesting conversation, but I will say this. To your point about it was just understood that younger generations could recognize some of the celebrities from older generations. Yeah. I was telling Matt to Google these old-timey actresses like Rita Hayworth because they're gorgeous. And what did you quote from Seinfeld?
Boy, that Jane Mansfield had some big breasts. That one?
Yes. Which is a
Well, he was trying to find out if his girlfriend had
real
implants.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But the fact that you would make a Jane Mansfield joke, even though that was decades later on Seinfeld, I don't think you could make a joke about an actor from decades ago for young people now.
Because they wouldn't get it.
They wouldn't get it.
It's infuriating. It's Chris and Amy show on KMOX. Text us 314-436-7900.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC, Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you wash that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, nope, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor-fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Dr. Colleen Bosler with the Audiology Center, and I'm talking with my associate, Dr. Adam Voss. What happens to a person's brain when they ignore their hearing loss?
There is such a strong connection between the ear and the brain. Ignoring your hearing loss can cause the brain to become lazy and the speech areas in the brain to shrink. This is partially why you can hear the words, but you cannot understand them. If a hearing loss goes untreated for too long, it may cause an irreversible change in the brain. It is incredibly important to have your hearing screened at 60 or older, or sooner if you're noticing difficulty. And the sooner someone treats their hearing loss, the better and quicker their brain will adapt to hearing sound again. Studies show that those who get hearing aids, even with a mild hearing loss, are much more successful hearing aid users as compared to those that wait longer.
So call us today to get your comprehensive hearing evaluation with one of our doctors. 636-441-7470. Or visit us online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your Politicians Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, allowing politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people. And the Politicians Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside 4 and 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, effectively ending our power to stop corrupt and out-of-control politicians.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom. 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the Politicians Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for fair government.
A century strong. The voice of St. Louis. KMOX.
Chris and Amy on KMOX. Text messages. This one into the show, 314-436-7900, says, I'm 23 and I can't stand anyone's musical understanding at my age. So I guess he's talking about, or they are talking about, musical taste of 23-year-olds. And they say, I listen to George Jones like I'm 60.
Well, okay, get to this text, which I think it's the same person who texted this, but it's a good point. It's what we were saying. The internet, like social media and phones, the internet has divided the house, and that's why there are no household names anymore, which is kind of true. Is you could have 5 household names if you have 5 people living in the house.
Well, even if you're using the same streaming service. So if you're in a house and you've got parents, you've got kids, maybe everybody has an account, and you can all be watching Netflix at the same time and watching 3 or 4 different things.
Right.
So
right.
you're not even on the same stuff on the same platform.
No. Matt, we had a texter ask, how did you get your appreciation for older music?
I think it was just listening to the radio in the car when my dad would take my sister and I to school, always having classic rock radio on, having CDs playing in the house all the time, and just sort of catching on to that, really appreciating like rock and roll music because that's what I grew up on, and began playing guitar around 12 or 13 years old, and you start to learn those types of songs. That's what I gravitated to.
But I think that's so true. It's family. That my dad had a record player, and he has all of his vinyls from college. Yeah. And when I was 3, 4, 5, I mean, my parents have like old camcorder videos of me on this like little rocking horse when I'm 3, like the bouncing rocking horses that were big in the 80s. And there's like maybe REO Speedwagon or Leonard Skinner, Boston, Yes, playing in the background, and I'm like rocking back and forth on this plastic rocking horse like my life depends on it. And so I grew up, Supertramp.
Yeah.
My sister and I, and with the vinyls, I know I've said this before, I loved the album covers. Like they were so mysterious, like Crisis, with the guy sun tanning on the roof. Is that one?
Yeah,
And then
Supertramp.
Crime of the Century with the bars in outer space.
Yeah.
Like you would look at those and you'd read the lyrics and you'd look at the artwork. It was such an experience.
Yeah, there isn't much of it's not the thing it used to be, the album covers. And of course, the music videos, when that became a thing, that's just out. I mean, I know people are making them, but it isn't anything like it was. I mean, music videos used to be recognizable, like a movie was. And it just, we're so far past that. I don't know that I guess that's fine, but it was kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
And I do think that younger generations, they do have the benefit of a lot more choice than we did, but I think they're also missing out on some stuff too.
I think you have to be very
Some
intentional.
experiences.
Yeah, like Matt's intentional with the albums. My brother's not that young. I think he's 32, but he loves modern bands, but he will buy their albums. So he has like Jack White, Jamie Cullum, Snarky Puppy, like a lot
Snarky
of
Puppy,
yeah. He's got all of those albums. So when I went by their house the other day, he was playing albums like Snarky Puppy or Jacob Collier on vinyl, and that was fun. But you do have to be very intentional about it. A texter 618 says, "My dad is 90, and I can promise you he knows who Anne Hathaway is."
He should. But if your son is 9, probably doesn't.
314, my son found his interest in classic rock through Guitar Hero.
I forgot to say that.
Yeah.
That's a big one. I mean, that was the game growing up, and it was songs from like Foghat and Aerosmith and Led Zeppelin. I mean, songs that you wouldn't normally be exposed to, but at 8 years old, you learn all these songs and you're hearing them for the first time, and it was that was a big thing for me too.
I was going to say, Jacob said my mom had 102.5 KEZK on a lot. Growing up, still loved the softest of rock and pop like Amy Grant and Taylor Dane. Love that. Remember Delilah?
Oh, she's still on.
She would say stuff like,
She still does. Whatever you're about to say, she still does that.
A caller calls in, my husband died and my son doesn't talk to me anymore. And I just, love listening to you and need a song for Christmas. And she's like, thank you for sharing, and go right into Frosty the Snowman or something.
Do you know that when I was growing up, as we go to break here, the majority of my 102.5 KEZK listening was, we had a public access channel in, I don't know if it was St. Louis or if it was just my town of Granite City, but it used to have, it was just like one of those channels with words on it. You would go to it and there'd be an announcement scrolling at the bottom, and then the KEZK would be playing in the background.
What did the words say?
Just Granite City, whatever, or St. Louis public access, and then there would be stuff at the bottom. Just, random announcements.
Interesting.
And then they just had 102.5 playing in the background.
I love 102.5. It makes me feel like I'm at the doctor's
And sometimes
office.
you'd have it on just to kind of pass time. It was background noise.
Yeah.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. Gas House Gang is at 12 o'clock today, and Bernie Miklasz and me will talk to you. Joe Sheehan will join the show, talking some baseball and some Cardinals. So we hope that you stick around for that on 104.1 FM KMOX.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Trisha Burns never answers the call. Trisha Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Trisha Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Trisha Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the Suicide Prevention Hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Trisha Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Trisha Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Voss, Treasurer.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where supplies start at just 25 cents?
Staples has the latest laptops with up to 40% savings.
I may hug the cashier.
So embarrassing.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples with up to 40% off select tech. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
It's gorgeous out there. I'm looking out the window, kind of cloudy. 77 degrees, partly sunny today, a high of 80. Tonight, some clouds, a low of 66. Weather sponsored by Steve Butts and the entire Crawford Butts family as America celebrates its 250th anniversary. Steve Butts and everyone at Crawford Butts Insurance wish everyone a safe and joyful summer, proudly serving the community for generations. Happy 250th, America.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores with you, and we've been having this conversation since yesterday about kids who are younger, like Gen Z, and how they're able to really isolate themselves.
They don't know who Roxette is, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
no,
that's a good point.
But isolate themselves as far as their TV, their music, what they consume, as far as any type of entertainment, and not really be exposed to any type of pop culture before their time. I want to read this text quickly from a 314. It says, your take on micro generations is spot on. My wife is 3 years younger than me, and it's like we grew up in different times. The main Gen Z divide is, honestly, did you have a car during COVID or not? The kids who got locked in have such little life experience and awareness. That's why they can't appreciate just how good The Grateful Dead is and how Silence of the Lambs is one of the greatest movies of all time. It's really funny because I feel like we got right into an argument with him and his wife with the specificity of that.
Yeah.
But that is actually true because your high school years and your college years are very formative. No, it's not the end-all, be-all, but you do get a lot of exposure to things. I will say, like, I got exposed to old music, old movies from a very young age with my family, but I definitely have friends who said they got exposed to, like, Led Zeppelin because maybe their friends had an older brother who was into music. And so that would happen kind of during those years. So for sure, I think the kids who were locked it down probably missed quite a bit of maybe that either exposure or experience that they would have had at that time.
Yeah, I don't think it explains it all away, though, because
not all of it. I mean, the technology is obviously the main
The technology is by far
Yeah.
number one, because that's not getting any less. It's not like kids now are growing up being exposed to. I mean, if anything,
Right.
if we were all locked down during COVID, you probably were more exposed to stuff your parents
Yeah, that's
were
a great
were
point, too.
watching and listening to, because you're in the house with them at all times, and that went on for several months, almost a year.
Yeah.
So you would think that at that point you are getting a better exposure to multi-generational
You're
stuff.
right, because people did talk about that they had time together that they otherwise wouldn't have had.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I and maybe like anything, it's case by case, but yeah, it's very, very weird. So there is it Brian Williams? All of a sudden I'm blanking.
Yep.
Yeah,
The
Brian
anchor?
Williams. Yeah, the actor? No, Brian Williams, the
Senator?
anchor, has a show where he interviews people much in the vein of David Letterman, where he sits down and has long-form interviews. And Brian Williams sat down with Tom Hanks. Now, he asked Tom Hanks about the future of cinema and movies when we're holding our screens on our hands. He's like, are you worried that people are going to start, watching movies on these screens, not as they're intended to be seen? And I thought Tom Hanks had a really good answer.
Does a little part of you die when you see somebody watching Private Ryan on their phone?
No, because let me tell you something. On the ABC Sunday night movie once, when I was a kid, the ABC Sunday night movie.
I was there.
With commercials.
Raised in front of the
tonight,
television.
on the ABC Sunday night movie, William Holden in David Lean's Bridge on the River Kwai. I watched it on a black and white TV set with 325 lines of scansion, a fuzzy picture.
And you're sitting 3 feet away.
And sitting 3 feet away from in pan and scan, by the way. So they didn't even have the whole aspect ratio. What we were seeing was electronically being moved back and forth. I watched the movie with commercials from General Foods, or Chevrolet,
Ford Motor Company,
or Easy Off oven cleaner. You're watching it all, as well as promotions for coming up this week on the Hollywood Palace. You could not have convinced me that I was not seeing one of the greatest motion pictures ever made on a black and white television with pan and scan.
So it's all relative?
It is all relative. Any motion picture, any TV or so, is a one-on-one relationship with it and the viewer. And if you watch it on the phone, are you missing all sorts of stuff? Sure, right, you are. But does it take away from the immediacy of it?
No. I got cut off there.
But I thought that was a pretty interesting answer, because when you do think about it, a lot of films, like he said, maybe you saw for the first time on a black and white TV that was fuzzy, not great clarity. But as long as you saw it, that's what matters.
We used to have 13-inch TVs in our homes, which is about just 2.5 times the size of a cell phone. So it's not that much bigger.
Yeah, you're right. It's like an iPad almost.
Right. I mean, a 13-inch. Yeah, isn't the small iPad 13 inches? Like diagonally? It might be. But those my grandpa had one. I remember, if we were over at my grandpa's house, and it was a black and white, and it was in their bedroom. And sometimes if we're at the house for a long time, and it's my parents and grandparents in the living room, I needed all right, I got to get out of here. And so I'd go to the back, and I would watch this little tiny black and white TV.
Yeah.
And so, I think I had one in college too, maybe a smaller one. Or maybe just a little bit bigger than 13 inches. But yes, I mean, it's not like, I think the problem now is we have the capability of seeing things, watching movies and TV on the best definition televisions, and they're pretty reasonable. I mean, you can get a really good TV for a few $100s. And you don't have to pay $2,000 or $3,000. You get a really good one.
Pretty soon they'll have VR glasses that are goggles, whatever, that you put on and you're in the Odyssey.
Yeah.
I mean, that could happen.
Yeah, but I think he makes a really good point about that it's not like I would prefer you not watch a great movie for the first time on a mobile phone.
Right.
You know, I think the person who made the film would prefer you to see it on a particular format or a bigger screen, but I guess seeing it is seeing it, right? As long as you're seeing it.
Yeah, I think to a point, what it can do is it can at least light a fire or be a spark for you to want to
see
have,
it, right.
yes, have a greater appreciation for it. You know, this got into a deeper conversation with Tom Hanks on if he was like losing faith in humanity. And I was talking about this with our boss, Steve, actually. And I can be pretty cynical. There was a piece or a story, it was the cover story of this month's Atlantic about we are becoming an illiterate society. And that hurts my heart so much because, I mean, that's what I do. Like reading, writing, teaching literature. That was my whole career. I don't know how I got into radio. It was I think a clerical error, a mistake that I'm here. But, I've always loved reading. I've always loved writing. I love teaching reading and helping to light a fire of passion for reading. And so when I see how we're becoming dumber, and I watch Idiocracy, and it's become less funny because it feels like a documentary because so many things are true, which, to put in perspective, they wanted to pick the stupidest, least likely clothing and shoes to show just how dumb the future was going to be, and they picked Crocs, little knowing that Crocs would actually become really popular, but that's where Crocs made their debut, is in Idiocracy. But I start to feel really cynical. I look at politics, I feel cynical. I look at social media and feel cynical. But I do think that at the end of the day, our humanity might pull us more toward, hey, you know what? AI is fine, but I miss people. And streaming music is fine, but I kind of want that vinyl record or even CDs again. And watching a movie in your home by yourself is fine, but I want that community experience. And even books, maybe we get to a point where there is a bit of a push to go back to feeling the weight of the book in your hand and turning paper pages. And maybe we do, because we are human, we are earthly, worldly, from dust. And I think we're not meant to live in a completely virtual world. And I think at some point we will start to feel a little bit of revulsion from being human, earthly creatures in a completely digital world. I think we're going to want. Well,
I think what you're saying is, I think you had a key word in there. I forgot exactly what the word was, but it was
time.
It was a few of us are going to something like that.
Yeah, there's going
to be a little bit of that. Some is the key word. Yes, there was a return to vinyl, but it is still
vast minority.
Yes, yeah. It's like less than 25% of people are listening to music on vinyl. Some people buy records. Some people like the act of buying records. Some young people like doing it. But far and away, people are listening with Spotify or YouTube Music or Tidal or, whatever else streaming service you have.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people are doing. So, yeah, I think there's always going to be a little bit of a draw for nostalgia or for something physical, tactile. But, we're going to continue to do the easy thing. The easy thing is get out your phone, go to Spotify and find the song you want to listen to. That's the easy thing to do. That's what the vast majority of people will continue to do. And so I think it's going to be the same with artificial intelligence, that we now have it. We can recoil at it a little bit and wish things were more human, but I do think it's going to be a majority of people who are still going to use it a lot.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think we're going to reject it.
I don't think we're going to reject it, but I guess what I mean is instead of AI, streaming, digital, social media completely consuming the human experience as we know it, it might be integrated in a more moderate fashion than how people are projecting right now.
Yeah.
Maybe, because of course, no, we're not going to get rid of it. But in the same way that everyone, said decades ago, we'll have flying cars by the year 2000. We're not close to that. We're struggling with self-driving cars. I think Waymo jumped the gun a bit by throwing those cars out there that, get stuck in cul-de-sacs.
No, but I think AI got here quicker than we thought.
I don't know. When did some of those futuristic movies from the 90s? I don't know. I mean, everything from Terminator, but is that like way, way in the future?
No, I think the Terminator date was, wasn't it 2020 something?
Because we're not quite.
Where the annihilation happened.
Yeah, we're not
the war
there.
started.
I don't know. And again, maybe this.
It was 2029.
Yeah, we're not that close. And maybe, like I said, I'm being Pollyannish and an optimist, but I choose to have hope that we don't completely surrender the human experience.
I hope you're right. I have doubt because I think we tend to do the easy thing.
For sure.
I think we tend to go, hey, whatever direction we're all going, I guess we're going to go too. There are very few people who can successfully push back against it and start a movement.
So I'll say, like, as far as politics go, you know how Jonah Goldberg is a conservative, but he's not a MAGA. He's just an old school conservative. He said there's a reason why he named his podcast The Remnant. And I think that's kind of how it will be with maybe people who read, people who eschew AI communication for still, bolstering their own communication abilities. So maybe there'll be a remnant.
314-436-7900 to text into the show before we're done at 12 o'clock. Then the Gas House Gang will talk some Cardinals, baseball, and more. Bernie Miklasz and me. But right now, it's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
And Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog! Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The financial industry is getting rich on baby boomers. Don't be their next victim. Find out the truth of what's really going on in the retirement industry. Join Greg Ayler Saturdays at 1 on Fire Your Financial Advisor.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC. Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Text messages, the 314-436-7900. We were talking about, all kinds of stuff. Talking about consuming media and generations consuming different media and how we were all pretty fragmented. And a texter here says, who's got time to read? I'll just wait for the movie. 2 hours and you're done. That's what Seinfeld said. He was talking, I don't know if it was on the show or if it was a stand-up bit where he said when people say, oh, the book is better than the movie. It's like, no, it isn't. I go to the movie, it's 2 hours and it's over. It's not better.
It is funny that people will say, who has time to read? Or who has time to work out? And I think, well, Americans find time to binge watch Game of Thrones or Severance or This Is Us or The Last of Us or any of those other popular shows. I mean, you can watch that for an hour, or you can read for an hour, or you can go on a walk. It's just what you choose to do.
Another texter says, I admire people who read. My wife can go through several books a week. Wow. I try, but it makes me very sleepy.
It does make you sleepy. I'm not going to lie.
Well, if that's what you want to do.
It can make you sleepy.
Another texter says, I feel like we're about to unlock a core memory for Chris of him moving the antenna around on a small black and white TV to catch a blurry, pixelated boob. I did not do that because that's not how that works. You can't just move the antenna around.
Wait.
You have to get you have to get the scrambler.
Oh, you mean to get a
cable.
station that you would... Oh, gotcha.
There were no over-the-air boobs. You had to get cable.
Is that a good
and then
band
you had to get
name
the...
or not? Is that a good band name?
What?
Over-the-air cable?
Pixelated boobs?
Pixelated boobs, over-the-air boobs.
You cannot get over-the-air boob. You had to... That was only on National Geographic because sometimes they would show...
That's right. I bet National Geographic
tribes.
would show boobs and boobs.
Oh, of course they'd show boobs. But yeah, you can't just... You had to get... There was a thing called a scrambler, which I don't even know what it looks like.
So it was for cable?
So it's for the cable box.
Okay.
And there was the pay-per-view stuff, the sexy time stuff.
You could get that at home?
Yeah, you had to pay for it.
Oh. I thought that was only hotels.
No, you could have done it at home. And there was a scrambler that you could buy. It was not legal to do it, and people would do it. I don't know what it looked like or how it worked, but I was always fascinated by it.
A scrambler is one of those things, like a catalytic converter, that if you paid me $10 million to draw what one looks like.
Oh, yeah. Me neither.
I don't know if a catalytic converter is 4 feet long or like 8, or like 6 inches long. I don't know. I know all about the black market. I know how they're stolen. I know that it happens.
I think they're not that small. I think they're the size of an elephant.
Yeah.
I think about that a lot, that, man, if my life depended on it, I couldn't draw a catalytic converter. Same thing with the scrambler. I don't know. Maybe it was another box. 314 says, Amy, I just left the library and saw parents checking out books for young children. Yay. That is good.
Well, yeah. Now read to your kids.
Oh, here we go. 636. I knew a guy that knew a guy who you could get a de-scrambler from. You had to climb up the telephone pole, unscrew the cable line, and screw this little device in, and you received everything. That guy went to jail, though.
Did you have to go up to the pole and do it?
And it was.
I thought it was on the back of the box. Is a D? Yeah, because
the scrambling was.
Have you ever seen like the scrambled image of a channel you don't have access to because you don't pay for
Back
it on
in
the
day,
old cable?
I think
yeah.
so.
And every now and then, for like a split second, it would be perfectly clear, and you go, "Whoa!"
Whoa!
Yeah.
See, those were the days.
Oh,
Delayed
man.
gratification.
That is exactly right. All right, that's the end of this. The Chris and Amy Show returns tomorrow morning with Hancock and Kelly to start the day at 9 a.m. Have a terrific rest of your day. If you missed anything, KMOX.com, Odyssey app, or wherever you get your podcasts. This show is all there for you every day. See you tomorrow at 9 on KMOX. Gas House Gang is next.
Can you imagine having to wear tights?
Yeah.
You need to wear tights. See how you feel.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by LendSeek.
Little tweak.